Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a new video for you, but before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, have not seen any of my videos before, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community and get access to my videos on a consistent basis is to become a subscriber to the channel. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you also put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. With that being said, today is Wednesday. It is March the 20th, 2019, and we have a 9-game slate in the association. And first things first, a little bit of news, of course. MLB is around the corner, so for all those more than likely MLB viewers are going to be starting to target some channels to get information on. MLB will be taking place as of next week. We will be covering some MLB during the course of the year, as well as WNBA a little later on in the late spring. So if you do play MLB, DFS, as well as WNBA, make sure you do subscribe down below so that you can be part of the community and get access to those videos. All right, let's get right into injury news, and then I'll give you a couple of tips and strategies for today, and then we'll go over a couple of plays. I'm going to try to start narrowing them down. I know I said that before. Yesterday I went a little overboard, gave you a bunch of plays. I got to definitely start narrowing them down so this way my videos are a little bit quicker, because MLB is around the corner and I'm going to have to definitely be quick with the NBA videos. But of course, you'll be able to get more information on those as you follow along on Draft Dashboard. But injury news. At point guard today, Kyle Lowry is out, the last I heard. So obviously Van Fleet, Lynn, Leonard, obviously a bump. Those are the guys, the normal plays there. DSJ for the Knicks, game time decision. I think I also heard that he's more than likely out. So obviously we already know with him out, Moutier gets a bump. Kadeem Allen has been getting some minutes as well, but he's not, performing as well. I think that the better bet would be to go with Moutier. Shooting guard, Zach LaVine is a game time decision. If he happens to be out, obviously, then we're going to love a whole lot of Dunn. And, Wayne Selden will get a bump in minutes as well. He'll be playing quite a bit as well. And then, of course, you have to consider Lauri Markkanen. Avery Bradley out, so that's a bump already for Dylan Wright, as well as Justin Holiday. Obviously, I love Wright a little bit more. Eric Gordon out, so that also opens up the doors for Chris Paul to be a great play, as well as Daniel House, who's going to more than likely start for Eric Gordon. Small forward, Giannis is a game-time decision. There could be a possibility that Giannis is out again today. I don't see the reason why. If he's still a little sore, why not sit him against Cleveland, where I think Milwaukee will be able to do just fine over Cleveland. As bad as they are, as poor as they are defensively, I don't see no reason why they need to play Giannis. But if he happens to play, obviously he will be in play. I just don't know how many minutes he will play. Otto Porter Jr. is very doubtful. He's a game-time decision, but I last heard he's doubtful. If he is out, obviously Markkanen is going to be the best player. And then, of course, there's going to be a bump there for Bobby Portis as well, and Wayne Selden. Those are the guys that you should be targeting. Power forward, Kevin Love and Larry Nance are both still game-time decisions. If they're out, obviously the normal cast of characters, Chris as well as Zizic, are going to be the ones that get the bump in minutes and get the playing time. At center, Al Horford is a game-time decision. If he is out, then you got to consider Marcus Morris has been getting quite a bit of minutes. I mean, he's definitely been getting a huge bump with Al Horford out when he's been out. And, of course, you got to consider Baines as well. And Tristan Thompson is a game-time decision as well with, if he's out, obviously Zizic has been the guy to go to there. We're going over the games. As far as games to target, for me today, Washington-Chicago is a game to target. Washington favored on the road by 3.5, 229.5 implied total in that game. If you wanted to target that game as a game stack or a team stack, you could go either or, in my opinion. Game stacking, you can definitely do a game stack there, because the highest price player there is Bradley Beal at $10,000 and change on FanDuel, and everybody else is under 9. So you're going to be in a very good position to get at least 5 or 6 plays easily, maybe even as much as 7 if you wanted to. If you wanted a game stack there, Miami and San Antonio Spurs are my second favorite game that I will more than likely have a lot of exposure to. I think Miami's going to come in there, give San Antonio a tough game. But San Antonio is playing so well right now. I do love San Antonio at home. They are favored by 6 in that game. As far as the spread is concerned, with a 210.5 implied total in that game, that'll be a little closer defensively. Not a high scoring game there. Boston, Philadelphia favorite at home by 3, 224.5 implied total there. That would be a nice game to target as well. But my two favorite, like I said, would be Washington, Chicago, Miami, San Antonio. And then in the late night, I always tell you guys to have some exposure to the late night. You have a 10 p.m. game between Dallas and Portland. Portland is favored by 10 at home with a 216.5. You could target one or two players in that game just to have some exposure to those games, especially if you play your bulk of your lineups in the early games. Always try to have some exposure to the later games. If you're not on that one, then make sure you have one or two plays coming out of the Toronto OKC game, which I think is the third or fourth best game to target today if you wanted to team stack or game stack. That one has OKC favored by 5 at home with a 227 implied total game. That game is at 9:30, so that's where I'm at there. All right. As you can see on my screen, we're going to go right through it. Like always, man, the weapon of choice here for research for me is Draft Dashboard here. We got everything from DVPs, defense, player, the price for both platforms, FanDuel and DraftKings. You got fantasy points per game, the minutes, the usage, what they have done against the opposition over the last 3 games right here on the screen. You could hover over this link here. You'll be able to see the last 5 games they have played as well as the last 5 games against the opponent. Projected points here, projection, and then you have the value with that projected point total. Ownership projections is very big. It's a new feature added on here to the dashboard over the course of the last few months. Points per minute as well as the hit percentage, the actual percentage of how often they hit that price tag on that given day is right here. 52% of the time, Russell Westbrook has hit the 11,500 price tag. All of that on top of being able to have NBA cheat sheet. If you don't want to go over all these numbers and you don't have no time, you obviously can go over here to this link with this service and be able to get your NBA cheat sheet with the best possible plays per price, per position as well right there. And then you got the sleepers and studs, you got the players trends, you got the lineup optimizer where you can go optimize all the lineups that you have on your watch players list. As you can see, my watch players list right now, I know a number of you have been following me. Watch players list right now is only 14, but by the time the next hour or two after I finish the video, that I get back to it, there will be more players added to this pool. It's just to be able to get through the video and just put the players that I really want to touch upon on the video. And all of this on top of you can utilize and you can break it down on DK as well as FanDuel, and you also have access to MLB, which is right around the corner next week. NHL, you can actually look at that information right now. NFL later in the year, and of course NBA, all that in one platform right here on Draft Dashboard. I can give you access to that and access to my player pool with the link in the description down below. If you click on that and you sign up, I can give it to you for 30 days for $1. You can't go wrong. You will get the dollar back. I could assure you about that. And even down the line, even as we move forward, you will make your money back. I mean, it's always good to have some sort of software to be able to make things a lot easier for you. All right, let's get to it, man. So at point guard, at the top, man, we got Damian Lillard. I do like Lillard a whole lot in this game, but I think he's a DK play for me. Again, I'm not going to tell you not to play him on FanDuel. I just do believe he's a better play. As far as price, I think the price tag for him at $8,800 on DK, needing 44, is excellent. He is averaging 44, as you can see already. He's put up 43 or better in 3 straight games with a 61 spot in his last game. As you can see, the minutes are going to be there. No CJ McCollum. He's going to get a ton of usage, shots, minutes on the floor. He's going to have the ball in his hands so many times, so many opportunities. 30% usage on average. He did have 30% in the last game, 36, and of course, he has done fairly well against Dallas. 48 average thus far over the last 3 games. Did put up 42 their last game out at 1.2 fantasy points per minute with a 23% hit percentage here at 10.7. I assure you that $8,800 price tag is probably closer to 50% of the time. It is too cheap a price for Damian Lillard with the usage, the minutes, and what is needed from him right now for his team to continue to win is he's going to need to be the man. And with that, that's one of the reasons why. Plus, he's on a favorable matchup going up against Dallas. We love picking on Dallas as well with the backcourt. Granted, he'll probably see some Doncic defense, but 21st in defending shooting guards and allowing 33.2 fantasy points per game over the course of the last 5 games. They did give up 47 to Payton, 38 to Sexton over the last 2 games. So I do like Lillard on DK. Not so I'm not really high on him on FanDuel. All right, so he's a DK play for me. Other than that, Chris Paul, no Eric Gordon. You got to consider Chris Paul here today. 8,300. I'm okay with that price tag because he has 50-point upside. He can definitely get it done in this matchup with no Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon takes about 12, 13 shots a game or better sometimes, and those shots are going to come off of Harden as well as Chris Paul in this game today as well. There'll be some shots there available for Daniel House as well, but Chris Paul is going to have a great opportunity. So at 8,300, you need pretty 141, 42. But again, I love his price on DK. I think if you're a DK player, he is someone you must consider in your player pool for today. 6,900 on DK, only need 34 there, and he's averaging 37.5. It's just a phenomenal, great price. 39 in his last game. As you can see, 50-point upside to put up 50 2 games ago. He's playing 28 minutes a game. Could get 30 to 32 minutes on average today, just due to the fact that they are going to be without Eric Gordon. And as you can see, his usage rate is in that 20-22% range. Granted, he has not played against these guys since last season, but I am not concerned at all. Chris Paul here is in a great smash spot here with no Eric Gordon, especially with that price tag on DK for 6,900. Memphis is coming in here 10th in defending point guards and allowing 38 fantasy points per game over the last 5 games. They did give up 38 to Satoransky and 41 to Trae Young over the course of the last 2 games. So again, Chris Paul, a nice DK play. I'm okay with him on FanDuel. I would prefer him more so on DK. So my 2 DK plays, Lillard and Paul. I do have 2 more guys here. I think these guys are more suitable for FanDuel. So if you're on FanDuel like me, I play a lot more on FanDuel. I will have exposure to Chris Dunn here. If there is no Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn will be a nice play to consider here at 5,700 on FanDuel. And he is averaging, you need only 27 to me value there, and he's averaging 28. And he put up a 29 spot in his last game, 24 better in 2 out of the last 3. Granted, without no LaVine, he gets a bump in usage, a bump in minutes. He's going to have to take more shots. 26% usage rate in his last game. That will be pretty much around the same, and of course the minutes will be in that range as well, as much as 27 to 29 minutes. Granted, 54% of the time he smashes that value price. Again, $200 cheaper on DK, I don't recommend it. 5,500 on FanDuel, excuse me, 5,700 on FanDuel, and $300 cheaper on DK, making him 5,400. He's a better play on FanDuel. So Chris Dunn in play for me today. 53% of the time he smashes value at 5,700. That's 5 times value here, and his ownership projection is only at a 5%. It may go up a little bit more, but not too high, even with Zach LaVine out. Again, great play if Zach LaVine is out. So keep on top of the news so we can see where we at right now. At the moment, at this point in time, Zach LaVine has not been ruled out, but he's going up against Washington. Washington is 25th in defending point guards, and they've been allowing 36.6 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. Gave up 31 to Rubio, 49 to Connolly, and 49 to Walker over the last 4 games. All right, if you're not on Chris Dunn, come down $200 more. I gave you guys Goran Dragic the other day as one of the options, and Dragic had an awesome game, 55 points, as you can see, in 29 minutes at 5,500 on FanDuel. $200 cheaper on DK. Obviously, he is a better play on FanDuel for 5,500. You pretty much only need 26. He's averaging 25. He's playing 26-plus minutes during the course of the year, 27 or better over the last 2 games, and he put up a 55 spot in his last game. Usage rate is going to be there. No Winslow. Remember, Winslow is out. Obviously, it's a bump for him. It's a bump for Dwayne Wade. You got to also consider Josh Richardson. These are the guys that you're going to have to be targeting from Miami today versus San Antonio. I love the matchup. I love the fact that he's more than likely going to get 30 minutes or better here. He may even start, which will open up the doors for even more. 54% of the time he smashes that $5,500 price tag. 54% of the time. That is fantastic. At 1 fantasy point per minute. I do like Goran Dragic here versus San Antonio. They're 24th in defending point guards, and they've been giving up 36.7 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards over the last 5 games. Gave up 55 to Curry, 51 to Lillard over the last 2 straight. All right, we go to shooting guard. There's other options here as well, guys. I'm not just narrowing down. I think these are the better plays right now for FanDuel and DraftKings. At shooting guard, at the top, we got James Harden. Obviously, he's in play with no Eric Gordon, but at his price tag, you know what? I'd rather play Chris Paul and save some of that money for somewhere else to put the money at. And that money can go on a guy like Bradley Beal. 10,300. You need pretty much 51, 52 to me value. He's 9,400 on DK. You need 47 to me value there. He's averaging close to 45. He's playing over 30. He's playing anywhere between 38 minutes to as much as 44 minutes over the course of the last 3 games. And as you can see, he's put up 55 plus in 2 out of his last 3 outings. He's taking tons of shots. He's doing everything he can to keep Washington in the playoff hunt here, and he's going to continue to do that. He's been having a phenomenal year thus far for the Washington Wizards. Usage is there. He did put up a 49 spot against Chicago the last time out. He's averaging 46 against them over the course of the last 3. Ownership is going to be slightly a little up, because it's a favorable matchup for him. 31% of the time he meets that value there, but he's $900 cheaper, like I said, on DK. So if you wanted to play him there, I think you could play him on either or, because I really do truly believe he's going to get 50 or more in this game today versus Chicago. Now, granted, there is a little bit of concern for me. My only concern is if there's no Levine and no Porter, how can Chicago keep the game close with just Dunn and marketing is going to be a little concerning for me. They're going to need a lot from those 2 guys to keep this game close. That's my only concern. But if one of those guys play, let's say Levine plays and Porter is out, I still do like Bradley Beal here because the game will at least stay a little bit competitive. We'll have to wait it out. We'll have to wait and see. But he's definitely in a position to do very well here. So, again, he's going up against Chicago. They're 24th in defending shooting guards, and they've been given only 25.4 fantasy points per game, which is considered respectable. But they've been trending a little bit upward. The last 2 games, Booker 42 and Buddy Hield 36. So that's obviously they are definitely trending on the downward as far as fantasy point totals. Next in line for me, DeMar DeRozan. Gave him to you the last time with Aldridge. I'm going to ride him again today. No doubt about it. DeMar DeRozan, this team has won 9 in a row. They are at home. They are playing very well. He's playing well. Aldridge is playing well. Until I see somebody, knock him off. I mean, again, any point in time, it can happen. It can happen again tonight. I just think that they're playing so well right now. San Antonio is getting themselves ready for the playoffs. At 8,900, I think you can play him on FanDuel. You need pretty much, at this price, you only need 44. Is very much attainable. He's averaging 40. But that price tag on DK is really, really appealing. At 7,700, you only need 37 to meet value, and he is averaging 40, and he's put up 37 in 2 out of his in 2 out of his last 3 games, as he put up a 49 spot in his last game. The minutes are there, over 30 to 35 minutes a game, and then look at the usage, 27, 27, and 28. So he's actually trending pretty much around what his average is, of 29%. Listen, 29% usage is, that is a lot of usage, man. He is definitely getting a lot of opportunities on the floor. 53 spot in his last outing against Miami. 10% ownership at 1.2 fantasy points per minute. 41% of the time he smashes that 8,900. Trust me, at the 7,700, that's over 50%. So he is definitely someone you can consider in either one of them. I like the fact that he's going up against his team. I also like that he is probably going to go up. He's going to probably face a little bit of Dwayne Wade, defense. I think he could definitely do well against his team and Dwayne Wade there. So DeMar DeRozan in play for me, man. I really do like this matchup, and I think this is an interesting game. I think this is a game that most people are not going to think about targeting. And for me, I definitely will target this game quite a bit. So DeRozan, Miami, is 9th in defending shooting guards, and they've been allowing 24.8, just 24.8, where they don't give up a whole lot of fantasy points per game to opposing shooting guards. But again, they did give up 42 to Booker in the last game, 36 to Buddy Hield. So again, I do like DeMar DeRozan. Other than those 2 guys, there are some guys that I'm considering. No Giannis, you got to consider Middleton. I am still possibly considering Dwayne Wade in this matchup. You got to also consider here for Orlando versus New Orleans with no Drew Holiday. You got to consider maybe Fournier or possibly Terrence Ross. Those guys have been bad, but again, at the same time, their price tag is good and they still have a little bit of upside. Great for GPP. Those guys are guys that I am keeping have on my radar as well. Small forward. A small forward at the top, you got Giannis. If he is out, he is out. Obviously, the bump, like I said, Bledsoe and Middleton will be good possible plays, as well as Marichik and Brook Lopez, the whole 4 other guys on the team. Over here, Paul George going up against Kawhi Leonard. Both of them are good, both in play. I just got to go with Kawhi Leonard just simply because there's no Kyle Lowry. He's going to need to put up a lot. He's going to have to do a lot more work. Granted, it's going to be a tough matchup for him. He's got to go into OKC and deal with Paul George defense. So I'm willing to still take a stab at him because his price tag is just still too good. 9,600 on FanDuel. You need 46 to meet value. We know he has 50, 55 point upside. And on DK, he's 8,400. He's $1,200 cheaper. That is too cheap for Kawhi Leonard, and especially with no Lowry on the court. So at 8,400, you need only 42, and he's averaging nearly 46. He's put up 43 and 53 in his last 2 outings. Over 32 minutes a game, and his usage rate is through the roof. I always tell you, through the roof, over 30%. He's been at 33 and 34 in those last 2 games. And with no Lowry today, obviously is going to be in that same area once again. He has not played OKC this year, but again, he's projected to put up 43s, which is close to his value. And at that $8,400 price tag, that is actually slightly above that price tag. So it definitely looks very good on DK. We'll have more exposure to him on DK, but I am okay with playing him on FanDuel as well. 51% of the time he smashes that. So obviously at that $8,400 price tag, that's about 55, 56%. So he is good to go there. He's going up against OKC. They're 17th in defending small forwards, and they've been allowing 20.5 fantasy points per game. We come down here. Jabari Parker is next in line. Obviously, Jabari Parker is going up against the team that signed him to a nice, big, long contract, and then they go and they trade him. So he's going up. Revenge game narrative here. He's going up against Chicago. So Jabari Parker in play for me, and he's playing fantastic basketball for the Washington Wizards. He's getting the opportunity to play there. He's actually has surpassed in minutes and in usage to Trevor Ariza, who was playing very well. So Jabari Parker, 6,400. You need 32 to meet value on DK. He's 6K. You need 30. I'm not high on him on DK. $400 more expensive on FanDuel at 6,400. I can see him. I could plug him in on my FanDuel account, on my FanDuel lineup. So I do like him there. No Otto Porter probably. That opens up the doors for Jabari Parker to do even better, and more than likely staying on the court slightly a little bit more as well. Averaging 27. And at that price tag, you pretty much need 31, 32. So he's only averaging 27, but 27, but the minutes are there. He's been averaging more minutes than his average for the year, 29 or better over the last 3. And look at the games, 35, 36, 37, 35 plus in 3 straight games. More than enough. That's just about what we need for him to meet value here. I think that today is going to be one of those days they're going to try to give him the ball and let him have the opportunity to really kick some serious butt. So I do like him here a whole lot. Last time he did play against him, he put up 40. So again, he has an opportunity here. 43% of the time he smashes that price tag. Like I said, he's $400 cheap on DK. I do love his price tag and the situation of where he's going. He's going back into Chicago to play against the Bulls. I do like Jabari Parker here. The Bulls are 24th in defending small forwards and only allowing 20.4 fantasy points per game. But they did give up 4 games ago. LeBron James 55. They haven't played really anybody real good. These are the guys that played over the last couple of games: Bridges, Shamet, and McCall, and Glenn Robinson III. So they haven't really faced anybody, but Parker's playing excellent ball right now. I think this is going to be a totally different situation for the Bulls this time around. Josh Richardson stands out to me as well, 6,200, no Winslow. You got to love Josh Richardson here, 6,200. You pretty much need 31 to meet value. He's 5,700 on DK, need 27 there. I think you can play him in either or. He's averaging pretty much 30, as you can see. Not quite 30 over the last 3, but the minutes are there. The usage is there. He's getting tons of shots. He will get a little bit more shots as well. With no Winslow, more usage, more shots for him today. They're going to need his offense. He only put up 32 the last time against San Antonio. But if they're going to keep this game close, Miami, and try to make this into a really good game, Josh Richardson is going to have to play fairly well with Dragic as well as Dwayne Wade for them to have a shot. So Josh Richardson, guys like Dragic, those are the guys you got to definitely focus on in this matchup today. So Josh Richardson in play for me. Love it. 5.5 times value here, 7% ownership, 56% of the time he smashes that price tag. He does have, 40-point upside. He can get you there. He's not going to give you huge numbers, but Richardson in play. San Antonio, 21st in defending small forwards, and they've been allowing pretty much just 23.2 fantasy points per game over the course of the last 5 games. But I do like the matchup for Josh Richardson here. Power forward. At power forward at the top, you got Julius Randle, LaMarcus Aldridge. Again, just like I said with DeMar DeRozan, I'm gonna stick with LaMarcus Aldridge here. It's not the greatest matchup, but I think that he has the ability, as well as the team has been playing as of late, them being at home, as well as the 9-game winning streak. It's just, for me, LaMarcus, you just got to play him. The team is hot right now. He played well in his last game. I recommended him in the last game, and he done very well. He put up 50 in that game. But at 8,700, his price tag is still pretty darn good. You only need 43 to meet value. He's averaging nearly 40. On DK, he is 7,900. You need 39 to meet value. I'm okay with him being played on either one of the two platforms. 50 in his last spot, and last game out, 33 minutes. Pretty much on average per game, he has been at 35 and 36 over the last two. And his usage rate is still in that vicinity of 21 to as high as 26%. I do believe they're gonna need him to do very well today here to win this game. He's more than likely gonna deal with some Bam Adebayo, but I do believe LaMarcus Aldridge will do fine here at home. And on top of that, he's also left-handed. I think that puts in play quite a bit defensively, how Bam is going to have to deal with him. But again, 8% ownership, 1.2 fantasy points per minute, 40% of the time he smashes value there. It's probably closer to 50%, at that $7,900 price tag. I do like the matchup. Aldridge here going up against Miami. They're 11th in defending power forwards, and they've been allowing 36.3 fantasy points per game as of late. They gave up 50 to Jeremy Grant, 74 to Giannis, and 38 to Pascal Siakam over the course of the last 4 games. So there is an opportunity for LaMarcus Aldridge to get busy in this one. Other than that, Lauri Markkanen, same game against Washington. Got to target that game. Lauri Markkanen in play. Did seem to bounce back from a couple of horrible games. Played a decent game his last game out. 35 points in 30 minutes. 7,400 for him on FanDuel. You pretty much need 36, 37 on DK. 7,100. You need 35 to meet value. Again, he's at 34. You could play him in either or. I think FanDuel is probably the better bet at that price tag. But 33 minutes on average. He put up 30 minutes in his last game. His minutes are going to start trending up. If he's going to shoot the ball well, they're going to give him the ball. And a game like this today, especially if there's no if Porter's not able to play as well as Zach LaVine, they're gonna need Lauri Markkanen to be very offensive minded today and put up huge amount of shots. So the usage rate and shots are going to be high just due to the factors of those guys being hurt. 1.1 fantasy points per minute, 46% of the time he hits value at 7,400. I would think that's closer to 50% for the reduction on DK. Again, Lauri Markkanen for me in play just simply because they're going to need him to be offensive, very offensive here today. 29th they are in defending power forwards, and they've been allowing 26.2 fantasy points per game. 4 games ago, they gave Aaron Gordon 34. Granted, he may go up against Jeff Green. Jeff Green has been a pretty decent defender for Washington thus far this year. But again, as athletic as this guy is, good perimeter shooter, could hit the 3 and get hot from there. It'll make it a little bit more difficult for Jeff Green. So Lauri Markkanen in play. Other than Lauri Markkanen, man, same thing, revenge game narrative with Bobby Portis going up against his former team as well. Bobby Portis, 5,600 on FanDuel, and he is 5,500 on DK. Heck, whatever, you can play him on either or. Obviously, the $5,600 price tag on FanDuel is absolutely a great price for him, for the amount of, for him to come out here and probably play 25 to 30 minutes against his former team. I really do believe they're going to put him to play against this team. 27 pretty much average for the year. He has put up a 32 spot 2 games ago. He is playing a little bit less than his average of minutes, 23 to as much as 24 over the last 3 games. His usage rate, though, for the amount of time on the floor is really high, so you know that he is going to get a lot of opportunities. He's still taking 12, 13 pretty much shots per game. 26% usage rate is fantastic. Last time he played against his former team, he put up 34. I would think he wants to go out there, especially going into Chicago. I think he wants to go there and do some damage. 51% of the time he has hit value here, so I mean that is definitely a good number. Washington is Chicago is 24th in defending power forwards, and they've been allowing 28.8 fantasy points per game. 4 games ago, they gave up 44 to Gallo, and Blake Griffin 5 games ago put up 45. So if he gets 25 to 30 minutes, I do believe he can definitely hit value here, get you 35 to 40 easily, and who knows, maybe even more. He has enough upside here. He can get you even close to 50 if everything goes right. Bobby Portis in play. among others. There's other people that I'm looking at, but those are the guys that stand out the most for me. At center, at the top, I'm only going to discuss two. Nikola Vukovich here against New Orleans, with already prior to doing the video, Anthony Davis is not going to play today, so that opens up the doors. He's going to go up against Okafor. He's going to see a little bit of Julius Randle. I still don't think that's enough to stop Vukovich. Vukovich at 10,500, you need 53 for him on FanDuel. On DK, he's 9,500, $1,000 cheaper. You need 46, and he's averaging 46. He did put a 63 spot in his last game. He's been 40 or better in 3 straight games. The minutes are there. He's actually been trending upward in minutes from 31 average to as high as 34 over the last few games. And then, of course, his usage rate is going up as well. 28 on average. He's been as high as 31% in his last game. Did put a 56 in his last meeting against New Orleans. I just don't see anybody who's going to be able to stop him if he is able to hit his shots. And we know he is one of the key components for Orlando offensively. So if he's not shooting well, he's not getting his touches, definitely Orlando is going to more than likely lose. So Vukovich in play for me, man. His ownership is going to be high because he is in a favorable matchup, 35%. Again, no problem. I would be willing to take that on FanDuel or DraftKings. 1.5 fantasy points per minute cannot go wrong. He's going up against a team that's 23rd in defending centers, and they've been giving up 31.2 fantasy points per game. They gave up 33 to Powell. Nurkic not so long ago put up 31, as well as Brook Lopez. So again, Vukovich in good position to get 50 or better here tonight. Next in line for me is Nurkic. As you can see, a Nurkic at 8,700 on FanDuel. You pretty much need about 43, 44 to me value. On DK, 7,100. He's definitely a DK play. You only need 35 to me value on DK, and he's averaging pretty much close to 38. He put up a 53 spot 2 games ago, so we know he has 50-point upside. Granted, he's more about a 37 to 40, 42 point fantasy point total guy per game, but he has those games where he can get 50. We know Dallas is not that good up front. The minutes are there. His usage is there. As you can see, his usage has been up 25% during the course of the season, 27 or better in the last 3 games straight. He only did put up a 33, not great numbers against Dallas, but again, I truly believe where Portland is at home, with Dallas not having the front court help that they had prior to before. I do like Nurkic here a whole lot today. That $8,700 price tag, but I love his price on DK. You gotta have him. He's more of a DK play. Let's put it that way. At home, 7,100. He's going up against Dallas. They're 7th in defending centers, but they've been allowing 35.6 fantasy points per game over the last 5 games. They gave up 52 to Randle, 42 to Jokic, 38 to Capella. Those 3 guys over the course of the last 5 games. So that's where I'm at right now. There are going to be some other plays. There'll be more added here. There will be added on here to the thing again, to the actual draft dashboard. Remember also, if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter, because I also put information there as well. Late, hour, half hour to about 20 minutes before lock, I tweet out what I think are the best 5 plays per 1 play per position, as well as a few other options as well. You know, as always, I always give you options. No different here. And then if you're following me here on Draft Dashboard, remember that this watch players list will be a little bit higher, and by the end of the day, the best possible plays will be there before lock. All right. Wish you guys a lot of luck tonight. Make sure you drop a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so down below. Also, if you want to try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1, just click on the link in the description of the video, and you will also have all these tools in your grasp, as well as being able to utilize watching my watch players list. All right, and that's the only way you're going to be able to get that if you want to follow along. And with that, I wish you a lot of luck, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow.